So here we are in 2022, and the GPU market hasn't exactly cooled down like many were saying it would, which has left many of you wondering if it's time to just finally buy that gaming PC that's already built. Now, most of us don't have $2,000 to $3,000 to throw down on a new PC, so in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 best pre-built gaming PCs that you can buy right now. They are in stock for $1,000 or less, and before you roll your eyes thinking you're not going to be able to do some proper gaming in this price range, think again. And if you really are determined to build your own PC, I've got a custom build at the end to show you, and that will also be under $1,000. Let's get on to our first PC here. So this PC is the most budget of the bunch today, but still has the specs to get you up and running, playing many of your favorite games. Normally $1,000, but as of this recording, you can snag it for $800. And the case on this one is one of my favorite of today's bunch. Inside that case, you've got a Ryzen 5 3600 for your CPU, 16 gigs for your RAM, and a 480 gig SSD for your storage. I typically like to see at least a terabyte of space on a gaming PC, especially with how big a lot of these AAA titles like Call of Duty are getting. But if you're only playing a handful of games, a storage of this size will get you by. And the GPU is on the lower end of the spectrum. It's an RX 560, so you're gonna be playing a lot of these games with graphics on either low to medium, depending on the game. And next up, we've got the gaming PC with no GPU. I'll explain how that works in a second here. This is what NZXT has dubbed the Foundation PC. It uses a Ryzen 5 5600G, which is an APU. And that means there is a processor inside, but it also has a graphics chip integrated with that processor. It's not nearly as powerful as having a dedicated GPU, but it's enough to get you up and running with games. It has 500 gigs of storage, 16 gigs of RAM, and overall, it's a solid build that will cost you $800. If you are the person who is really set on getting a kind of a mid-range to higher end GPU, but you are just waiting for the right price, this is a great buy where you can get up and running without having to sink money into a subpar GPU that you're just gonna have to replace in a year anyway, assuming you're wanting the, that higher performance. Next up, we've got the HP Omen series, and this one in particular will cost you $950, but there is a disclaimer here. This one ships with just 8 gigabytes of RAM, and I would really hate to see you gaming on just 8 gigs. So what you're gonna wanna do here is upgrade to 16 gigs. Even if you've never built a PC, popping out and in RAM is very easy to do. If you use the Tech Audit TV Deals website, which I will link to down below, and you should absolutely bookmark this thing, we're always finding awesome PC deals. And it shouldn't be too hard to get 16 gigs of RAM for around that $50 price range, which keeps you in the $1,000 budget here. And for the rest of this PC, you've got the 1660 Super for your GPU, 512 gigs of storage, and if you make the upgrade to that 16 gigs of RAM, you should be able to play 1080p on medium to high settings, depending on the game, and you could probably do a little bit of streaming on this thing as well. Now, this one is normally $1,300, but it's currently down all the way to just $1,020. I know that's $20 over budget, but it's such a good deal, I had to include it. A great GPU. You've got an RTX 2060. You've got 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage space, and with that money you're saving, almost $300 here. You can definitely hop over to the Tech Audit TV Deals site and grab yourself an extra terabyte of storage, well under that savings amount, no problem. And with these specs, you should be able to play 1080p at high settings and also stream on this. I should clarify though that this deal is an open box product, which for me personally doesn't really steer me away from snatching it. And for our last of the pre-builds, we've got another ABS PC here. Normally retails again for $1,300, but currently $1,050. And yes, again, it's $50 over, but I think you can find space in your heart to forgive me on this one. Very similar specs to the last PC, coming in with an RTX 2060 GPU, but this one is not an open box, and it comes with an i5 11400F processor, which is a slightly better CPU. Just like the last PC, this will get you the power needed to play your favorite titles, 1080p, high settings, and also stream. I should note that every PC mentioned today comes with a free keyboard and mouse, with the exception of the NZXT PC. The first PC also has an exception. It doesn't ship with a keyboard and mouse like the others, but in the details on the product description, they mention that after you leave a review, then you will get a keyboard and mouse, which, if I'm reading this right, seems kind of shady to me. But don't let that deter you from buying the actual PC. Just more of the business side there. A little interesting. Now, surprise, surprise, if you want to build something yourself right now, you can build a PC that will beat out every single pre-built I just mentioned and still keep you well under that $1,000 budget. I'll link to the parts of this build in the description, but the big winner with this build is you're gonna get 1 terabyte of storage along with an RTX 1660 graphics card, which is very comparable to the RTX 2060 Super, and you are doing all of this for under $933. And that will get you your high graphics settings at 1080p and handle streaming no problem. Now, if you have a question or need help with your gaming PC journey, by all means, join the free Tech Audit TV Discord community, which I will link to below, and we would love to help you out on this stuff. And if you're looking for a gaming monitor to go with your new PC, check out this guide right here I put together, where I teach even the most beginner how to shop for a gaming monitor like a pro so you don't get screwed. Enjoy.